So there's a few questions you're gonna actually ask yourself. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down the first question, or you can kind of, you can condense it. No, the question. I want you to write down the question. I want you to visually see the question. Okay, so what is a goal in the past that I was unable to meet and it really made me upset? Question mark. You can minimize that if y'all need to. A goal that upset me or, something like that. Okay, now I do want you, no, I was just gonna say something. I do want you to leave room between the two. And I know y'all have small notepads, so you might need to flip it. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to really think about this and I want you to answer your question.
Do we have to write the question down?
You can. No, the first question. Go ahead and answer that question. I want you to think of something that, it could be that you've tried this particular goal multiple times, but something that really discourages you when you don't meet that goal. I know it sounds hard. You don't want to really think about things like that, but I have a reason. Like, I don't want to think about that anymore. All right. All right. Now, I want you to write down question number 2. All right. I want you to answer the question, what is a goal in the past that you were able to meet and was very proud of when you did it? It encouraged you, all by yourself. Now, once you've written that question down, go ahead and answer it. Giving everybody a little time. Okay. So we're going to take a couple of notes. All right. Now, the few things I just want you to write down, very, very simple, is baby steps, realistic, attainable, realistic, attainable, and worthwhile. All right. Now, it might require kind of, maybe just a discussion, maybe a few notes along the way. But what I want you to do is I want you to look at the first goal that was set, and I want you to look at the second goal that was set. What I want you to think about is the 4 things that I just requested you do in any goal. Is basically what I was doing is when we set goals, do we set them easy to attain? Do we make them attainable, right? Is it something that, is it worthwhile setting that goal? Is it important for you to set it? Ask yourself, was that just something simple? If it upset you, was it even worthwhile? You look at we're always talking about our health. We're talking about our minds. We're talking about our spirits. When you try to meet those goals, is it worthwhile? I'll give y'all a couple of examples. So then when you look at the next one, you look at the things that you were able to meet. Now, it might be a simple goal and it encouraged you. You have to look at who you are and what it takes to accomplish things and what you consider rewarding, right? I think what we do is we're talking to everybody and we're comparing notes and we're like, okay, I can do that, right? And you just set up a goal that you didn't really think through. Okay, so we want to think through the goals. We want to know why. We want to look at our health. We want to look at, how we've done things in the past. We want to just compare them and say, why in the world would we want to set goals anymore that are going to discourage us? Okay. And don't compare yourself to other people. You might need to, if they say, well, hey, I lost, 10 pounds over the next 3 months, that's my goal. It doesn't mean that you're going to need to set that goal the same way, right? You want to, is it attainable? You want to think of how you're going to set the goal. If I work out 5 days a week and I know that I eat a certain way and I drink plenty of water, which I do, and I'm going to attain a goal, it doesn't mean that's realistic for you, right? We got to look at what we're doing, because if we're going to just discourage ourselves, don't set the goal. Now, I will tell you, discouraging looks something like this. I'm going to clean out my pantry. There's going to be no sweets in there. There's going to be, like everybody's telling me I need to eat this way or that way or whatever. And in reality, we all have to eat. And the goal is simple, sure, have a sweet every once in a while. Have something that's going to encourage you. Don't worry about what other people think necessarily. And see, that's the thing, is when you get in a group of accountability, and I know that y'all have had the really tops, is it? Do y'all talk about that? Setting realistic goals and making sure that you're telling people it's okay not to meet it the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you want a checklist, you're a checklist person, great. If you're an Excel sheet person, great. Whatever it is to take and actually meet that goal. Okay, the goal is to accomplish the goal, right? That's the goal, is to accomplish it. All right, and then you look at the ones that made you really proud of yourself. Those are what you want to look at. What did you do in that goal that made it attainable, and why did you get excited? Like, what was the purpose behind the goal and meeting it? Now, so once you might need to take notes, you may not, but what I want to say too is life goals in a group like this never really has to be just an eating goal. How you eat, what exercise you're going to do. It's good to have those goals, like to set those goals based on what you need. Doctors tell us all the time, and I can tell you most famously, it's going to be stay active. What does that mean? What does that mean in your life? Stay active. What does mobile look like? What can you attain? How are you going to attain it? And definitely find a friend or a family member that can encourage you the way you're going to meet that goal. Okay? If you know they're the discourager, it's not your person. Okay? I just wanted to point that out. It's not your person. However, we are the PCC Health Nuts, and we got tons of us all over town. So if you need somebody, let us know. Okay? That's one key point. Another point, I like to use this one only because, and this has nothing to do with my spiritual walk being inadequate for me. I do what needs to be done for me. Devotionals, daily. If I miss one, I'm human, right? It doesn't have to be the same time every day for me. For a lot of people, it does. Because it's just how they think. It's how they progress in their walk, right? Now, this is a big one, and I know a lot of people have done it, and this is not. It has nothing to do with the saying that it's bad, but people like to read the Bible. They have this thing they do for like a year where they read it from start to finish. Okay, some people do it back again. I've never done that in my life, nor do I ever desire to do it. My walk looks different. Yours looks different. If that excites you to meet a goal like that, it's time to set that goal. That's what I'm telling you, because if it excites you to meet it, more than likely, you're going to meet it. Does that make sense? A little bit more? Okay, cool. Now, it's never really going to excite you to come back to the health goals where you're like, okay, I got to clean out my pantry. I got to do it this way, got to do it that way, because we don't want to do it. But we know we need to do it. So what we want to talk about is attainability, right? So you have a person over here that if you look at it and you're honest with yourself, half your pantry is sweets. But we're not saying eliminate all of them at once. We're basically saying look at things, take a look. What has sugar? But don't do it when it's overwhelming, because it's not worth it if it's overwhelming. If you need somebody's tips, just try to ask them a few questions at a time. I remember when I was trying to lose weight again, I'll give you an example too. My life was, the comparison was years ago, I'd gone on the Slim Fast diet. Do we all know that one? Okay. And it's drank 2 shakes a day and a sensible meal. Y'all remember that? Okay. And don't forget to have snacks. No, they didn't tell you that very often. However, I I tried that diet, and I'll tell you that I was able to lose 70 pounds and I lost it pretty quickly. Here's what I learned about that. They don't really tell you, or they never used to tell you, if they're telling you now, that they didn't tell you what was good for you and how much you needed to suit your lifestyle. And I was running on low fumes. I ended up in the hospital because I had no calories left. By the end of my day, I don't even know how I survived on 1,000 calories a day. I don't know how I did. It wasn't my life. I worked full time, took care of a family. Not good. So here's what ended up happening. It wasn't enough for me, first of all, and what I was burning or what I was doing was not healthy for me, okay? Other kids think it is, and that's great. If that's what they think they need to do is burn every calorie off that they eat, if they're not gonna listen to the wiser in their life, great. But eventually we have to do that. We have to sit down and go, who are we and what's realistic? So with that in mind, I have a challenge. This is the fun part. Okay, so I was telling Brother Steve when I originally thought of this that I wanted to kind of revisit this particular lesson or idea in about a month, okay? Now, if y'all feel better about 2 months, I'm good with that, but it's gonna be a Wellness Wednesday where I would like to, right now, I want you to think, and you wanna write it down, you gotta see the goal, right? But a lot of us, and I would say most of the people I meet are visual. I'm very audible and visual. Like I have to see and hear and, right? I learned that way really well. So application for somebody to take a note right now, like, cool. So on my checklist, I'm added to my checklist. I'm going home. I just put check next, by the end, but that's, nope. I don't even make, the only thing I use a checklist for is to-dos on a daily basis. If I have like, right, a grocery list or something like that, but for goals, it may not be for you. It may not be for you because it's too intimidating. Be honest with yourself. It's intimidating for me. So if you say, okay, well, I want to meet a goal right now, you write down your goal. I want you to set a reasonable goal. And I'm going to give you an example. This is I've already told a couple of y'all how cute it is because it's small. Some other people like myself, it was huge because I absolutely love sweet creamer. I don't even like coffee very much. I really don't. So I would ask people over my lifetime of 15 some odd years where I drank coffee all the time with a ton of creamer. I would always say, can I get some coffee with my creamer? And that's just how I was, right? I am a diabetic. I rely on insulin for every carbohydrate that goes into my body. If I don't work it off, I have to take insulin to adjust and maintain it, right? My blood sugar. So I always had this thing, I can't, this is post-breakfast. This is after you've eaten. Every time I'd sit down with my endocrinologist, I just can't ever get my post-meal blood sugars in line. They're always high, always. I have said that for years. And what I've learned about that, it was just the bad habits that I wasn't measuring. I wasn't looking at them properly. So I decided, I think it's been about 6 weeks, I should have wrote the date down, but that's not me. I want to attain the goal, but I don't necessarily want to do it on a day-to-day, right? So maybe 3 weeks, you set the goal and it's 3 weeks later. You're like, I can meet it in 3 weeks. That's your goal. I'm like, I think I can do this, but if I fall off the wagon the first week, I don't want to put myself in a position where I wasn't able to meet the goal, right? So what I did was I just said, okay, out the door, out of sight, out of mind, use that trick. It usually works, but not for everybody. But if it's not there, you can't eat it. So I just took all that creamer, it was gone. And I bought half and half, and I make sure that I have my low-fat milk in the fridge because either one is going to be sufficient. And then I like Splenda. So I thought, okay, well, here's a packet of Splenda. So now what I do, and I said, I'm going to set this goal and I'm going to meet it because I'm going to be excited about it. I just figured out that, oh my gosh, my blood sugars are so much better now that I'm doing that and I'm practicing it. And I couldn't quite figure out where to make that, that cut, if you will. My doctor always said 30 grams of carbs or less per meal or snack throughout the day, and you'll be able to control it. Well, I certainly can't control it if I'm having 30 or 40 grams of food. And I'm also, if y'all look at the sugar on that stuff, right? I just doubled it. And why did I not figure that out? Because I got so used to just pouring it in and not measuring it, it didn't matter anymore. But now it matters. So when I go, and I still do 4 creamers. When I go to, like, I get a small coffee over at McDonald's. I did it today, 4 creams and 1 Splenda. It used to be 4 creams, and 2 Splenda. I want it less sweet because now I'm retraining my mind that the sweetness was never the thing that actually I enjoyed. Right? Okay, good. So that's a small goal and I've met it. I just want to point that out. Thank you very much. I've been able to do that and I do believe that I can continue to do it, but I have to know that I can continue to do it. All right? Now, the next thing is once you've met that goal, whatever goal it is, it doesn't matter what it is. That was the point I was making was it can be that goal, right? Or it can be, okay, I'm having to move in the next 30 days. And I know that I have to clean this out, but don't let it be overwhelming because if you don't want to focus on one room at a time, you don't have to. Nobody tells you you have to. You decide, okay, well, I'm going to do this out of this room and that everything's going to go to, say, the garage, for example. That's all going to Goodwill, or it might be the last thing you do where it's all going to that same room and then it's going to Goodwill. It doesn't matter how you do it, but if it's attainable for you without overwhelming you, by the way, remember you got the PCC Health Nuts to help you. When you have these goals, call on people. That's what we do. We love to serve. And when we're capable and we're not feeling bad or something's going on health-wise, 6 months ago, I might not have been able to jump up and help you do that. But now I'm feeling better and I want to do it, right? So when you ask, you get the help. So right now we're gonna make it our goal to not be prideful anymore because we're coming back together and that's the real deal. I mean, we're able, guys, look, we've got, just so everybody knows, we've got all of us here and we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 with Brother Steve. It may be primarily the team, but if that's the reason you come back, come join us because we need you. And so with that in mind, whoever comes back and is very honest with himself and has met the goal, I hope you're excited because then what I'm going to do is go out into the community like I've been before, and I'm going to get some gift cards because those people need to be rewarded. What my goal in that is when you're excited, don't have a problem rewarding yourself. You know, one thing I learned about that recently also with my son, he's 15, he's a rewards-driven child. And what I was forgetting because he got so behind on his work and he was so lazy. And when he was starting to perform, I wanted him to perform like okay, you give me 3 whole months and then I'll give you a reward. That's not gonna work for him. And I failed on that and I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry about that, but it's important to let our kids know they have achieved a goal. And sometimes you have to let them know and reward them for it. So if you're a rewards-driven person, don't forget to pick something out. But right now, when we come back together and you've met your goal, you're gonna be rewarded from us as a group in the community. So there you go. Does anybody wanna talk about the goals they've written down and share with people the things that might have intimidated them? No, I'm serious because when we don't discuss it and find out, like say, Jane might have had a goal that she thought was attainable and didn't attain it. Somebody else might be going, well, I was able to do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your thought process is if it doesn't work for you. So does Jane want to share one? Do you want to? Okay, Peggy, do you want to share one? If nobody wants to share the successful.
Move.
Okay, she's got a big one. Look, we spoke directly to Peggy. Look at that. She's going to be moving and she might need help, right?
Right.
So as it seems overwhelming, it's really not unless you view it that way. Because the reality is if at the last minute, I just want to point this out, you want to call the Boy Scouts at the local church, they'll come help you get the heck out of there. Because they do. They've done it for me. Because that's their service project. Does everybody know that? It's very cool. And they're getting back out there too. I mean, I've heard a lot about it. I just haven't had the need for that. So anyway, is anybody over here wanna? We got to get, Marlene's going to need the mic.
I had a goal.
Yeah, I'm getting, ooh.
When I was 40,
Oh, she's got one.
when I was 40, I changed
got one over here, too.
occupations
I thought y'all had that. Shoot.
I went to nurse aid training school. I went to nurse aid training
We're not
school
gonna hear.
and I wanted to attain higher education to become a nurse, which I did not
Susan
attain,
can,
mainly due to my back problems. So that was one of the past.
no, this mic is internal. We're not going to hear it. I just realized it. We don't hear it. However, if y'all can maybe help her kind of, yeah, that'll be cool. No, she can use the mic. No, she can use the mic, but I'm saying if y'all can kind of help her give us a little synopsis of what she's saying.
This is not on. She didn't have the education she wanted, and she went to school for nurse's aide, and she
I can hear.
wasn't able to complete it.
Mhm.
She didn't say
I
why.
became a nurse aide, but I wanted to go on to higher education to become a nurse. She was a
Okay, so
nurse's
Marlene
aide,
was
but I
talking
didn't-
about, and they've probably heard you, the goal of setting a goal to be, what was it, a nurse or a doctor? Or?
Nurse.
Okay, wanting to meet a goal in education that she was never able to get, but she went on to be a nurse's aide. You know what? I don't know about y'all. I wouldn't have went any further personally, just, okay. But I think Marlene could have, but Marlene's job is just as important. And it should have, and I hope it was rewarding because that is a big deal.
Are you still interested in taking classes?
Are you still interested?
Are you still interested? Oh, I can't because of my
Yeah.
back. Oh, okay, okay.
So that limits you now, but there was a time though that became very satisfying. So your goal was potentially met. I think what we do too is we try too hard to maybe think God's not got a plan, already got a plan for us, and we're trying to go a whole different direction. So we have to believe that as well, you know, God used me and let's go, let's go. So anyways, does anybody else have one? That was a good one. Thanks, Marlene. Come on, Miss Eileen. I know you got one. Just give me one more and then we'll get one from the group, maybe on Zoom. Is anybody left? Do we still have people on?
Is the mic on?
It is internally. They can hear us on there, but they're, yeah, we're just needing y'all to step it up over here. That's all.
Okay, my goal, I did attain a goal of getting to my top's goal weight,
Mhm.
but I lost it after a year.
Okay.
It broke my wrist and
Yeah.
it went away, and I haven't been able to get it back. And it's been 7 years. My goal now is to lose back to my goal weight by the end of the year,
Okay.
losing 2 pounds a month.
2 pounds a month.
That's a half a pound a week.
That's a half pound a week.
That's all.
Very
And
realistic.
I can achieve that.
Okay.
I'm sure I can achieve it.
Okay.
And it makes me happy that I can set my goal for that and work
Right,
towards it.
and it's going to be reasonable.
Yes.
And attainable. Yeah, realistic. So you're, so once you've met that goal, have you come up with something to reward yourself? Because I know you're going
Well,
back and forth
yeah.
from California. So I mean,
Depend-
it's kind of hard.
depends
to say,
on
is
when
it
I-
a trip or,
Depends on when I make it.
Yeah. right.
If I'm here, I'll do something fun here. If I'm in California, I'll probably go to the ocean.
Well, you know, just like the TOPS group, are y'all still meeting here
Yeah.
locally?
We're not having meetings, but we're not having
weighing
meetings,
in.
but we
You
weigh in.
Have gone back to our meetings.
Okay. Because that might be a way for us as a group to do that, is just revisit our goals and maybe go out for lunch or, you know, just something to talk about it, you know, that'd be fun. Okay, does anybody on Zoom want to chime in? Do we have anybody? Oh, does anybody on Zoom want to share a unfortunately discouraging goal, or like Miss Eileen shared one that she's willing to reset and attain because she's learned what's attainable for her? Is there anybody there? We can't hear them. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that is what we're doing. That is your challenge. And hopefully you guys have thought this through. If you haven't right now, it may come to you later. Just get one goal on board and set your goal. And all I'm going to ask you to do is come back and revisit it and let me know where you are and if you've achieved that goal, right? And yeah, we're praying that Peggy will. She might need a few people to help her too. Just a little tip of the trade and what we do here. Yes, go ahead, Susan. Did you have one? Okay, Susan's got one, if y'all want to hang on.
Okay, one goal that I had long time ago was weight loss.
Mhm.
And like so many people, it just never happened, you know? So then I had a reason. My daughter was getting married and I just thought, you know, pictures last forever. So I did manage to lose quite a bit of weight. And what makes me happy and proud of is that I've pretty much kept it off.
Yeah.
This class has had a lot to do with helping me keep that weight off. But so, you know, when I reach in the closet and I don't wear an XL anymore,
Yeah.
that it makes you feel better.
Yes, and that's kind of small for some people. Like you see these girls just jump on when they're younger and they're like, it was never easy for me. And I was athletic, you know what I mean? So I knew it'd be a challenge in my life. But you're right. And small goal, I mean, you're just excited. You get excited. Little things excite me now. I mean, I've had such a challenge this last year. Just because I was able to work out the third or fourth day after chemo, I was excited. It helped reward me to know that I was going to continue, and I was going to be able to do this, right? But not without help.
But I would go to the Y or something and work out. And the only thing I liked about it was when the door closed behind me as I left.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, when we get to cool down, we're like, good job, group, because we did it,
But
right?
coming
We did
here
it.
is
Yeah.
fun. Coming
Uh-huh.
here is fun.
Yeah.
So I appreciate this group a lot because it's
Yeah.
really helped me.
Yes, absolutely. And I just offered up myself to Peggy because I think what we do is we forget that goals really are attainable, but we're in this life together. Like we try so hard to meet a goal on our own, and it's not easy. If I hadn't had Herb there this last year, I really don't know how I would have met some of my goals. That is absolutely 100% true. And God puts those people here. So we just need to use it. Love you guys. Y'all have a great day.